Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Hello friends, this is Vijay. Welcome to ForumIAS Hindu Daily. In our today's news discussion, we will be seeing the topics in the slide. The first one, it is related to the gig workers, and the Rajasthan government recently they announced certain initiatives. Then the second one, it is about the Triambakeshwar temple, which is located in Nashik. Then the third one, India moves closer to getting its first vaccine against dengue. So this is the third topic. Then the fourth one, it is about the cotton imports from Australia, and India recently exhausted the 51,000 tons of quota. Then the last one, Kasi Council order on father surname sets of war of words. It actually created certain skirmishes, and today we will be discussing about certain basic facts about the Kasi tribe and the tribal administration council and certain festivals related to the Kasi tribes. So these are the things we are going to discuss today. Now, without any delay, let us dive into the discussion part. This is the first article for you. Rajasthan moves spells some hope for gig workers. It came in the editorial page. So, here in this article, the author have been discussing about the government initiative, the Rajasthan state government initiative, and he is speaking about the code what the central government it brought in the year of 2020 and how it have been ensuring certain basic benefits to the gig workers and what are the challenges in the implementation of the Rajasthan government's initiative. So these are the things the author have been discussing here. First, we should know what is meant by gig workers. Okay. So what is meant by gig workers? Gig workers, they will be working for certain entity based on certain fixed payments for the task what they are taking. So if the guy or if the woman is undertaking some task means, then for each task the company will be providing certain remunerations. So the maximum number of tasks if they are undertaking means the maximum amount they will be getting. So this is the basic principle behind the gig workers, and these gig workers they usually work for those entities on a temporary basis and they are not employees. Rather, they will be considered as a contractual employees. Okay. For contractual employees, there won't be any remunerations as like the permanent employees are getting in the same entity. So this is what it have been discussing here. And since independence, the gig economy have been prevailing in India. You might be knowing about the Hamali and all. So the loadmans and all. So they also a gig worker. But in the contemporary scenario, the digital platforms have been booming, and you might know about the Ola, Uber and all. So these platforms, they have been providing the temporary employment to the people. And with this gig economy, almost 15 million Indians are getting employment. So it actually proves the importance of the gig economy to the Indian economy. So if there is no gig economy means the unemployment rate will be very high compared to the rate what it have been prevailing now. So here in this section they actually states that the platforms they are considering the gig workers as a independent contractors. So they won't get the remuneration what the people are getting. But here Rajasthan have been providing certain initiatives and it really concern about the people who are in the gig economy. So that's what they came up with some initiatives. The initiative is the Rajasthan platform based gig workers social security and welfare fund. So this is the arrangement they brought. So here they are going to put certain mechanisms to provide the relief to the gig workers. And here in the highlighted portion, it stated that in sectors have more informal workers, there is no straightforward way to deliver the benefits since on paper employment relationships are missing. So you might know about the permanent employment. If the person is taking the permanent employment in the company means there will be some contract, and in that contract they will be highlighting the entitlements what the employee is deserving. But with respect to the gig economy, there is no similar type of contracts and all here. So that's what there is no written material for the entitlements. So it will be very tough for the government and for the welfare organizations to provide the entitlements to the gig workers. Like that they have been discussing here. And here they are also discussing about the tripartite relationship has to be built to force employers to acknowledge that they have informal workers. The tripartite arrangement, in the tripartite arrangements, who will be the partners? The government will be there, the employers will be there, and the employees will be there. So these all three, they will be colluding together to ensure the rights and entitlements to the employees. And this tripartite arrangement, it will provide some smooth relationship between the employee and the employers. So this is what it have been discussing here. Now let us come to the next one, tie down in the specifics. So here they have been stating that Rajasthan platform based gig workers welfare board, they actually aims to deliver certain social security benefits. What are the benefits they are going to deliver? They are going to deliver the PF like arrangements, then the employee injury benefits, the housing, the education schemes, and education schemes for the children of the workers, then certain schemes for the skill upgradation and all. Actually, these all benefits, it actually have been provided by the Code on Social Security. So, the Rajasthan based gig workers welfare board, it actually will be picking some arrangements from these schemes. The Code on Social Security, it have been providing these benefits. But the state government, they will be picking certain mechanisms from these arrangements and they will be providing it to the gig workers. So, this is what it have been discussing here. Apart from that, they may also get the health and maternity benefits, old age protection, education and all will be here. But these entitlements, it will come from the central government and the central government will be deciding what are the states it is eligible for the central sector schemes. Alright. So this is what it have been discussing here. And I already told you about the Rajasthan platform based gig worker social security and welfare fund. How it is going to run? Because there should be some resources, right? So here they are going to levy 1% to 2% from the operation of the gig platforms. So from the operational and the returns of the gig platforms, they will be levying 1 to 2% of the cost. And this cost, it will be utilized for the entitlement. Okay. So the gig workers, they will be getting the entitlements from the accumulation of the fund in the Rajasthan platform based gig worker social security and welfare fund. So this is how they are going to run the funding arrangement. And here they had given what are the challenges ahead. You all will know, since independence, there are several boards have been functioning in India for the welfare of the employees. One among them is construction board. So here they have been discussing about the challenges in the construction board, because like the board what they are operating in Rajasthan, previously we were having the construction board, and in the construction board it is not providing some remunerations to the overtime and all. So that I have been discussing here. Okay. And it have been making the employees to discharge more time, money and other resources also. So these are the things it have been discussing here. And here they had discussed that anyway the gig workers, the gig economy, apart from these benefits, the Rajasthan government, they should also take concern of the labor rights and all, because for the gig workers, we are not providing any labor rights, right? So that's what they have been discussing here. The labor rights and all should be included in the initiative. So in the upcoming days, the other states and other welfare organizations, other voluntary agencies, they should come together and they should give some thrust to the each and every state governments to bring some initiatives what Rajasthan have been taking. So this is what the article have been discussing here. Now let us discuss about the phenomenon which have been providing the boom for the gig economy in India. What are the key drivers of the gig economy? The first one is flexibility, right? So in the digital age, the worker need not sit at fixed location. The job can be done from anywhere. So this is the model today the digital revolution have been providing to the employees. So employers, they can select the best talent available for a project without being bound by geography, right? Then the second one, the gig employees work on various compensation models such as fixed fee and time and effort, actual unit of work delivered and quality of outcome. So on these basis, the gig employee will be functioning. The fixed fee model is the most prevalent. However, a time and effort model, it comes a close second. Okay. Then the third one, in India, after the Startup India scheme, the startup ecosystem in India have been developing rapidly. For startups, hiring full-time employees leads to high fixed cost. Okay. So in the startups, they won't have any sufficient resources to provide the salary and all to the permanent employees. So therefore, they used to hire the contractual freelancers for the non-core activities. But in today's scenario, even for the core activities, because we are working on online basis, right? Work from home and all have been available. So people have been hired for the high quality core activities also. So these days, apart from the non-core activities, the startups have been hiring the contractual freelancers for core activities also. Then the last one, changing workers' attitude. The millennial generation seems to have a quite different attitude to careers. Here, in today's scenario, people are not working for money, especially the people who are highly skilled. They are actually working for passion. So these attitudes and all have been providing some thrust to the gig economy, because for gig economy, the people at will they can work, right? So it have been providing some flexibility to them. So these are all the few basic key drivers behind the boom of the gig economy. What are the other challenges the gig economy have been facing? Your workers need to be skilled enough, right? In India, almost 70% of the workforce, they are unskilled. Only 30% of the workforce is skilled, and 90% of the economy is informal economy, and 10% alone is the formal economy. So here they had given that unless a person is extremely talented, his bargaining power will necessarily be limited. So to ensure the bargaining power, the employee has to be highly talented, and he should groom the skills. If he groom the skills means, then he can he can bargain for better monetary benefits and all, right? So this is what it had been discussed here. Then the next one, demand supply mismatch. There are already many more potential online independent workers than jobs. So this is what the platforms, the digital platforms like Blinkit and all have been reducing the wages what they are providing to the employees. So in the before 2 months, I heard that I came across certain news like Uber, they actually slashed the commission to the drivers. Then Blinkit, you might know. So Blinkit also, it reduced the payment for the deliveries and all. If suppose if they are paying 30 rupees in the past means, it might be reduced to 20 rupees. Anyway, it will be a loss for the people who are depending on the gig economy, right? So these are all the few challenges it have been faced by the people in the gig economy. Now with this note, let us move on to the next article. Maharashtra government constitutes SIT to probe the Nashik temple incident. What happened in Nashik Triambakeshwar temple? Actually, in Triambakeshwar temple, it is one among the 12 Jyotirlingas, right? The southernmost Jyotirlinga is located in Rameshwaram, and this is one among the 12 most Jyotirlingas. So here in the Triambakeshwar temple, as per the trust authorities, the non-Hindus are not permitted to enter the temple, right? So in other temples, the non-Hindus are permitted to enter the temple premises, but in these sacred temples and sacred places, the non-Hindus are not allowed by the concerned trust authorities. So this is the issue, and here the Maharashtra government, they actually constituted a special investigation team, because in the last year also the incident seemed like it happened. So that's what the government, the Shinde government, they actually launched a special investigation team to probe the recent incident. Now let us have a brief about the Triambakeshwar temple. The Triambakeshwar temple, it is located at a distance of about 28 kilometers from Nashik, near the mountain named the Brahmagiri. So actually in Brahmagiri itself, the Godavari also have an origin. The origin of Godavari is in Brahmagiri range. Okay. So the temple, it was constructed by the Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, and he was ruled between 1740 to 1760. So on the site of old temple, the Peshwa Balaji Bajirao too had constructed the current temple. Okay. And Triambakeshwar temple, I already told you, it is one among the 12 Jyotirlingas. The city of Triambakeshwar, it is located at the foot of the Brahmagiri hill, which is height above 3000 feet above the mean sea level. So the temple have been locating 3000 feet above the mean sea level. And ancient Indian temples, they are classified in three broad types. You might know this classification is based on different architectural styles, right? So what the kings and all employed in the construction of the temples, based on that, there are three different styles are there. The first one is Nagara, or the northern architecture. Then the second one is Vesara. Then the third one is Dravidian. In India, below the Vindhyan range, okay, here will be the Nagara. And Kaveri is here. So in this region, the Vesara architecture will be there. And here, in the southern portion of the peninsula, the Dravidian architecture is there. So these are the three architectures have been present in the Hindu variant of temples. In the past week discussion, we have seen about the southern architecture, the Dravidian architecture. Now, before getting into the Nagara architecture, let us see a brief about the constituents of Hindu temple. The first one is Garbhagriha. So here, this is the biggest Shikara. So here the Garbhagriha will be there. So it is a cave-like sanctum which houses the main icon of the temple. In the earlier times, it was a small cubicle with one entrance. In the later periods, it grew into a large chamber. So in the early times, it will be in a small cubicle, but these days, it actually developed into a biggest chamber. Then the second one, Mandapa. Mostly, Mandapa is a unique trait of the Dravidian temple, but certain North Indian temples are also having, or the Nagara architecture temples are also having Mandapa. The entrance to the temple is called the Mandapa. So it could be a portico or colonnaded hall. So where worshippers will be standing. Then the third one is Shikara or Vimana. So in the Dravidian architecture, it will be called as a Vimana. In the Nagara architecture, it will be called as a Shikara. So it is nothing but a mountain-like spire on top. So this is the construction. Okay, this is the bottom portion of the temple, and these are all multiple Shikaras. So the biggest Shikara will be hosting the Garbhagriha. Then the fourth one is about the Amalaka. It is like a stone-like disc. Here in the image, you can see this is a Amalaka. It is a stone-like disc which is at the top of the temple. Then Kalasha. Kalasha is above the Amalaka. It will be composed of some metal compounds. So that will be termed as a Kalasha. And the next one is Jagati. This is most common in North Indian temples which is a raised platform where devotees can sit and pray. So this is a Jagati. And the next one, here it is that Jagati platform. So here the peoples will be sitting and they will be praying. Then the next one is Vahana. Vahana, it is the vehicle of the main deity. So for each and every god in the Hinduism, they will be having several Vahanas. So here the example is Lord Ganesha is for, mouse is for Lord Ganesha. Okay, so mouse is the Vahana of Lord Ganesha. And now let us have a brief about the Nagara architecture. It became popular in northern India. The location is above the Vindhyan ranges. The entire temple generally built on a stone platform with steps leading to it. Okay, so there won't be any grand boundary walls and all as like what we have seen in the Dravidian architecture. And the earlier temples, they had only one Shikara, whereas the later temple, they had many. So this is one among the classic example of the early temples. So here there will be only one Shikara. It actually belongs to the Latina subtype. So the Garbhagriha, I already told you, it will be locating beneath the tallest Shikara. Then there are several subtypes are there. The first one is the Rekaprastha or the Latina type. Here, the Shikara will be very simple and the Shikara will be constructed on a square base. Here, this is the Latina temple. So here, the bottom portion will be composed of a square or a cubic compound. So above that, there will be a Shikara. And in the later periods, the Latina type become more complex and the towers and all will be clustered. So this is the clustered towers. Here you can see multiple towers are there. So whenever you are entering the temple in the Nagara architecture, in the beginning you will be having a very lower Shikaras, and if you are entering into the temple, in the last you will be having a biggest Shikara. So this is the unique feature of the Nagara architecture. The next one is Pamsana. Pamsana is nothing but a roofs composed of many slabs that gently rise to a single point over the building center. So it is also most common in the northern or Nagara architecture, and they are actually broader and shorter than the Latina ones. The height and all will be very shorter than the Latina type, but they will be very broad. Okay. Then the third subtype is Vallabhi. Vallabhi is a unique variant of Nagara architecture. Here in the bottom portion, it will be in the form of a rectangular shape, and in the above there will be a vaulted chamber. This is the vaulted chamber. So this is the rectangular portion of the building. Okay. So this is the rectangular portion of the building, and above there will be a vaulted chamber. Now with this note, let us move on to the next article. India moves closer to getting its first indigenous vaccine against dengue. So the Serum Institute of India and the Panacea Biotech, they applied to the ICMR's call for expression of interest for collaborative phase 3 clinical trials because these two entities are indigenous manufacturers. Generally, here they had given that phase 3 trial. Phase 3 trial is being done to check the efficacy along with the safety and immunogenicity of tetravalent dengue vaccine. So these are all the few basic constituents it will be checked in the phase 3 trials. So far they had conducted the phase 1 and phase 2 trials. So in which they passed, the vaccines are passed. Now they are entering into the phase 3 trials. Now here, with respect to dengue, in India, almost 2 to 2.5 people have been suffering from dengue every year. Okay. Throughout the globe, the proportion is very high. Almost 100 to 400 million infections have been happening every year. And WHO says that it is one among the top 10 threat for the humans in the contemporary scenario. And now let us have a brief about what is dengue. So dengue is a mosquito-borne tropical disease. It is caused by the dengue virus. The genus is flavivirus. So genus flavivirus is responsible for causing the dengue. And dengue, it spreads through the two mosquitoes. We all well known it spreads through the Aedes aegypti. Apart from Aedes aegypti, Aedes albopictus is also one among the genus of the mosquito. So these two genus of the mosquitoes, they are responsible for spreading the dengue. So the same Aedes mosquitoes, they also spreads chikungunya and yellow fever and Zika infection. And with respect to dengue, guys, if the patient is infected means, if the patient is infected, okay, mosquito 1, it bites the patient 1 and now the patient 1 is having dengue. If mosquito 2, if it bites the patient 1 means, it will attract the dengue and it will pass the dengue to some other patient. So this is how the vicious cycle have been functioning. So here the patient will be acting as a carrier. So he will be acting as a carrier. Right? So if the patient 1 is having dengue means automatically he will be acting as a carrier and he will be spreading the dengue to some other patients through the Aedes mosquito. And here we should know Aedes aegypti, it actually have been prevalent in southern peninsula, then the coastal line, east coastal line especially, then the northeastern states and the northern plains. These are the region which are having Aedes aegypti. And Aedes albopictus, it have been prevailing in the eastern and western coastal lines, northeastern states and the lower Himalayan region. So these are the few regions which have been hosting the Aedes albopictus. So the ideal condition for the mosquitoes are 35 degree north, okay, 35 degree north to 35 degrees south. So this is the latitude measurement. So between these regions only, 35 degree north to 35 degrees south, between these region only, the mosquitoes are breeding. And I already told you, they all have been spreading chikungunya, yellow fever and Zika infection. So here 4 other serotypes have been provided. The first one is DEN 1 and DEN 2, DEN 3 and DEN 4. In the question in the UPSC, they might ask you the DEN 1, DEN 2, DEN 3, DEN 4 are related to which of the following answer, like that they can ask you. Symptoms you should know. The patient will be having sudden high fever and a severe headache, then the pain behind the eyes, then bone and joint pain and all will be there, then the muscle cramp and all will be happening. If the patient is having dengue means these symptoms and all will be there. The diagnosis and treatment, no specific treatment protocol is there. Usually the blood test will be carried out. So to identify whether the patient is having dengue or not, they will be carrying out a blood test. Then the plasma infusion will be happen. Then vitamin C and all will be prescribed. Vitamin C tablets or vitamin C based citrus fruits are there, right? Lemon, grapes, these fruits and all will be prescribed to the concerned patients. In the plasma infusion, the plasma will be infused or plasma will be injected into the patient, and the patient over the course of time they will be responding to the treatment. Then the platelets count and all will be start increasing. It will be start increasing, right? So the plasma infusion, it will escalate the platelet count. Then automatically the patient will be recovered. Now this is the next article. Cotton trade import. Cotton trades high more imports from Australia. So India already it had exhausted the 51,000 tons of quota duty free the Australian cotton imports. Usually the cotton and all will be imported to India to manage the price in Indian domestic market, because we are having a decline in the production. So it have been escalating the prices in the domestic cotton market. So to overcome those issues, the government have been permitting the importers to import the cotton from Australia. For that 51,000 tons of quota had been provided. So now the quota had been exhausted, and in the future we may expect that few more tons of quota and all will be provided to the importers. And India import exhausted 51,000 tons of duty free import quota of cotton. Now let us discuss about the brief about the cotton. Cotton is a kharif crop. The life cycle of the cotton, it ranges from the 8 to 9 months time period. It requires 210 frost free days for maturity. Okay, so this is one of the unique characteristics of the cotton crop. So it requires 210 frost free days. And you all well known the drought resistant crop cotton. Actually it have been growing in the peninsula region, the Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and apart from these plateau states, the Rajasthan is also have been hosting the massive number of acreage under the cotton. And globally, it actually occupies 2.1% of the world's arable land, and it meets 27% of the world's textile needs. Apart from cotton, the silk and the engineered threads and all have been used in the textile industry. The suitable temperature for the cotton crop is 21 to 30 degrees Celsius, and the rainfall is 50 to 100 centimeter. The soil should be the regular soil. Black soil will be a fine one. So well-drained black soil is the mandate for the cotton crop. So in India, we are having the cotton growing regions in the plateau regions, which means in the plateau we are having a black cotton soil. So this black cotton soil, it is volcanic origin, and the top cotton producing countries in the world are India, China, USA, and the top cotton producing states in India are, as I already told you, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and then Rajasthan. Apart from these states, Tamil Nadu and Andhra is also there, but they are providing very meager quantity of cotton. Then the species of cotton have been provided. Gossypium arboreum, then the Gossypium herbaceum, then the Gossypium hirsutum, then the Gossypium barbadans. So this barbadans belongs to the Egyptian variant. This hirsutum belongs to the American cotton. These Gossypium arboreum and Gossypium herbaceum, they belongs to the old world cottons. Okay. Now, what are the issues with the cotton sector in India? The first one is pest infestation. Because of that, yield is very low. And in India, the per hectare productivity is also very low. In India, we are providing 510 kgs per hectare. Okay. Whereas US is providing, the yield is in the range of 1064 kgs per hectare. Okay. So in India, we are having very poor yield compared to the rest of the countries. The irrigation is also very poor in Indian landscape. Only 38% of the land under the cotton crop is having the well-connected irrigations, whereas in USA, almost 88% of the land are having the well-connected irrigation sources. And the input cost is very high because the fertilizer and the hybrid variants of seeds have been taking huge toll in the form of input cost. So that is also very high in Indian market. Then the last one, Indian content is largely monsoon dependent. You all well know the rainfall is inconsistent because of the monsoon characteristics in India. So therefore, it is also acting as a biggest headache to the production in the cotton sector. Then what should be the way forward? We need to adopt a high density planting system. What does it mean? In high density planting system, large number of tops will be planted per hectare region. So compared to the method what we are following in the traditional setup, in the high density planting system, more number of crops and all will be planted per square feet area. Then the second one, strengthening market linkages can help farmers get a better price for their cotton. Agriota, you might know, in UAE, the Agriota is there. So with the help of Agriota, the Indian farmers can fetch better profits. Like that, if Indian government is coming up with any platform, any digital platform, means it will give some remuneration to the farmers who are depending upon the cotton crop. Then the third one, the value addition. In India, we are doing value addition to only the 24% of the cotton what we are growing in Indian landscape. So the rest of the cotton and all have been exported, or we are exporting in the form of yarns. So better we can provide some incentives to the manufacturers to do more value addition. If we are doing more value addition means then the profit margin will be very high, and the margin will be very high, and in the course of time the profit also will be very high. So it will bring lot of dollars into our forex reserves. Then the fourth one, the government can improve the infrastructure in cotton growing areas by building roads, irrigation facilities, and the storage facilities. Because we don't have elaborate logistics mechanisms in the cotton growing region, so the government need to improve the logistics related aspects in those regions. Then it will bring down the cost what we are incurring for transporting the crop from the field to the industries. So these are the few things the government should take forward. Now with this note, let us move on to the next article. The Kasi Council order on father surname, it sets war of words in the matrilineal Meghalaya. Matrilineal means the individual will be tracing the descent from his mother's side. So this is what the matrilineal means. Patrilineal means the same way, but the descent and all will be traced from the father side. So this is what the patrilineal means. And here the tribal council, they actually passed one order for the individuals who trace their descent from the father side, they should not be provided the ST status. This is what the Kasi Council had provided the order, and they actually imposed the order based on the section 3 and 12 of the Kasi Hills Autonomous District Kasi Social Customs Lineage Act 1997. So based on this act, they actually passed this order, and it have been causing certain skirmishes in the Kasi region. The news is Kasi Hill Autonomous Council issued an order. So those who adopted the surnames of father can be given the status of ST. So this is the order they had passed. So what is the matrilineal system? I already told you. The matrilineal and the patrilineal means in the matrilineal, the individual will be tracing the descent from the mother side. In the patrilineal, the descent and all will be traced from the father side. The principle of matrilineal and patrilineal system is for inheriting the wealth, responsibilities, and in certain rites and rituals. Especially during the marriage and during the cremation and all, certain rites and all will be followed by each community. So these rites and all will be ruled by the lineal system what the community have been following. And let us have a brief about the Kasi tribes and their customs. The Kasis, they actually inhabit the eastern part of the Meghalaya in the Kasi and Jaintia hills. So in the Jaintia hills, we all well known the Jaintia tribe is there, but Jaintia is also one of the sub-community of the Kasis, and they are also having other names, Nars and Boys. So these are all the few other names for the Kasi tribes, and the ethnicity what they belong to is Proto-Australoid Montgomery race. Among the Proto-Australoid, several races are there. Montgomery is the race the Kasi tribe had belonged, and they dress what the Kasi people have been wearing is jimpong. So the traditional Kasi male dress is jimpong, which will be in the form of longish sleeveless coat. So there won't be any collar and all. Now the Kasis, they also have adopted western dresses, and the Kasi traditional female dress is rather elaborate with several pieces of cloth, and it will be giving the body a cylindrical shape. So actually I couldn't able to pick the picture. So the better you can keep the things as the female dress will be in the form of a cylindrical shape. Then with respect to the food and beverages, the staple food of Kasis is rice. So apart from rice, they also consume meat and fishes, and the rice beer is the beverage. Almost all the tribal people who are in the northeastern region, they have been using. So rice beer, it is a part and parcel of their customs, and the social structure, they are a matrilineal that we had already discussed. And what are the festivals they are having? They are having a Nongram dance. This Nongram dance is nothing but it is a Thanksgiving festival, and the Kasi people, they will be worshipping the Almighty for the good harvest, peace and prosperity. So the festival is all about it. It is a Thanksgiving festival. It usually held in the capital of Kirim Sing, which is near the Shillong. So near the Shillong, their capital is there, where the festival will be celebrated. And it will be performed in the open by young virgins and men, both bachelors and married. So the people who are participating in the festival will be male, and both the bachelors and married and all will be participated. And here they will be providing some goat sacrifices and all to their chief. And with respect to the Nongram, it is one of the very popular tribal festival in the northeastern region. So these are the few basic things you should know. And here they had given that the men form an outer circle and dance to the accompaniment of the music of flutes and drums. So flutes and drums and the dance forms a constituent of the Nongram dance. The 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution, it deals with the administration of the tribal areas in the 4 northeastern states: Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram, according to the Article 244. So Article 244, it provides the administration of the tribal areas in the 4 northeastern states, the Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. Okay. So the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution, it allows for the formation of the autonomous administrative divisions, which have been given autonomy within their respective states. So these all regions will be having autonomous regions. So there the council will be functioning as a deciding authority. So here the state governor is authorized to increase or decrease the areas or change the names of the autonomous districts. So the governor is having enormous power with respect to the increase or diminish the area. And apart from that, he can also change the name of the autonomous districts. Then here you should know the executive power of the state. It actually have been extending to the 6th schedule areas, because the governor is having power. So obviously the executive power will be extending to these regions. But the acts of the parliament or the state legislature, it won't apply to these autonomous districts, or it will be applied with some corrections made by the governor. So the governor is empowered to make certain corrections with respect to both the acts of the parliament and the state legislature. So these are the few things you should know. And another one thing, the jurisdiction of these councils, these autonomous district councils, it fallen under the concerned high court. So that also you should know. So the autonomous district councils, they are falling under the jurisdiction of concerned state high court. Now with this note, let us move on to the question part. The first question, the black cotton soil of India has been formed due to the weathering of fissure volcanic rock. And in the ancient past, there were volcanic activities in the Deccan Peninsula. So with the result of those volcanic activities, the black cotton soil is there. So the answer option B is the right one. Then the second one, the crop which is subtropical in nature, a hot frost is injurious to it. It requires at least 210 frost-free days and 50 to 100 centimeters of rainfall for its growth. A light, well-drained soil capable of retaining moisture is ideally suited for the cultivation of the crop. So here they have been talking about the black soil, because black soil is having self-plowing characteristics, and the crop what they are mentioning is cotton, because cotton alone will be requiring 210 frost-free days. I already explained you. Then with respect to jute will be requiring high water intake, and sugarcane, it is an annual crop. It will also require huge amount of water. And the tree, it will be growing in the hilly region, and it will require well-drained loamy soil. So all 3 options are eliminated. A is the right one for the question number 2. Then the third one, among the agricultural commodities imported by India, which one of the following accounts for the highest import in terms of value in the last 5 years? So with respect to the value, vegetable oil is the highest import what India have been importing, because with respect to spices, we are a net exporter. With respect to fresh fruits, we are a net exporter. And with respect to pulses also, we are a net exporter. We are almost producing 15 million tons of pulses, and we are importing 7 million tons of pulses. But with respect to vegetable oil, we are importing enormous amount of palm oil for the domestic and industrial purposes. In industries also, for ice cream manufacturing, then for cosmetics and all, they have been using the palm oil. So for industrial purposes also, we have been importing enormous quantum of palm oil. So the vegetable oil is the one, in terms of value, is the largest one. So with this note, let us wind up this discussion, friends. Let me catch you in another discussion tomorrow. Thank you for your patience.